Hello, you dirty potters. How are you today? Get out of the shot. You're gonna mess up the surprise. Today is a day that I've been waiting for a very, very long time. Today we are going to be testing a mystery glaze. What is a mystery glaze, you might ask? Well, as potters, whenever we apply glaze or whenever we even make our own glaze and we have to test it on test tiles, anytime we place glaze, some of us, quite a bit of us actually, take this thing called a potter's knife and we'll scrape the glaze off of our pots. Once we scrape this glaze off, you can see this kind of leftover glaze residue come off of a lot of our pots. This is extremely normal, and while the majority of us usually just kind of like dust and throw this away, some of us will save this in a jar over time and make a very big batch of glaze out of it. But there's so many glazes that you put into this jar by this point that you have no idea what the glaze is. There's probably floating blue in here, I can see a crystal glaze way up here, I can see a bunch of stuff in this jar. I have no idea what it is, which is why it's mystery glaze. And it's actually quite an achievement to get one of these. It takes years and years and years to even think about getting one of these jars, and the dedication of saving up these little tiny basically glaze flakes over time is really arduous, to be honest with you. But the awesome thing is that this is already glazed. This is already set and done. The only difference in between this and an actual liquid glaze is that there's no liquid in here. I really just have to add water, which I can do very easily. Okay, in all fairness, it doesn't immediately turn into glaze. It takes a while to saturate and get all the juices flowing, but this will essentially in time be glaze, which we are going to test today on a couple of different test styles that I have saved up in the studio. This video is not really meant to be educational or anything like that. It's just that, you know, it's kind of a special moment for a potter like me, especially people who make their own glazes. This took me about 4 years to make, and so I'm gonna turn this in, I'm gonna scoop it around, maybe sieve it even a little, and see what color comes out. What I want you to do in the comments below is to tell me what color you think this will come out as. I'll give you a little hint. I'm pretty sure all of this right here is floating blue, while all of this is Ron Roy's High Gloss Black, while all of this is a crystal glaze up here, and you might have a little bit of the oil spot red in there. I'm pretty sure those are like my 4 flakiest glaze combinations that I have.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so this is actually taking a really long time, a much longer time than I thought it would take, and because I assume you don't want to watch 5 minutes of me sieving this back and forth until it becomes really smooth glaze, I'm going to put a picture of a little doggy on a black screen for you, and that way you can look at that while I time skip to the future with the magic of YouTube, and I might even see you when the lighting's better and this is nice and smooth. So, editor, who is me, cue the doggy. Okay, it is now the next day, and this took considerable effort to make it even this smooth. Let me tell you a little story. Last night, it was like 12 a.m. and I had a bunch of lights behind me in order to make it generally light enough to show you what I'm doing, and it was still a little bit dark. So now, it's a little bit lighter and the lighting is different because I have natural sunlight. But while I was doing that, there was a storm outside going on, so I just decided to cut the whole thing off and start today. But in between those 2 times, I sieved this maybe about 15 times. I'm guessing it's because of the crystal glaze that I had in there had so much gum and so much flakiness that it was difficult to even get it to where it is right now. But granted, I think this is a pretty good job. This is pretty smooth. So we're going to test this on a porcelain clay body, and we're also going to be testing this glaze on a B-mix clay body, and I'm pretty sure this is B-mix with grog. It's pretty old, has some chattering on it, just because I wanted to see what it looked like on a really good texture. The high majority of the time, whenever you mix glazes that should not be mixed together, you'll get like a brown, because blues and cobalts and red iron oxides are usually the strongest oxides and colorants, and those 2 colors together usually make brown. I should stop doing that. You know what, just for fun, let's pick another one off the shelf. I need a brown clay body. No, that's way too fancy. Those are all porcelain. And yes, this is garbage. Let's do this. And we're also gonna test it on a brown clay body as well. This is redstone, while I'm pretty sure this is porcelain, and this is B mixed with no grog in it. So let's get glazing.
Time for lunch, my lips still rock. Little mama melon with the hot pink top. Cherry, vanilla, flavors is a virtue. They loving lip gloss universal. The boys really like it, the girls don't speak. They rolling their eyes, they lip gloss cheap. It ain't my fault, but I can upgrade. Just show you how to use nice things with nice flavors. What you know about me? What you know about me? What you know about me? What you know? I said my lip gloss is who? My lip gloss be popping. I'm standing at my locker, and all the boys be stopping. It's popping. I don't know. It's popping. Let's go. It's popping.
Okay, so this is the mystery glaze on a porcelain cup that I've carved a little bit. I kind of want to see what the texture is on this, so I just made it extra wonky. This one here is it on a redstone clay body with a little bit of sgraffito. It's not like super intricate sgraffito. It's basically I put blue glaze over a red cup and carved through it. But we're gonna see the contrast in between that red and blue and just see what this color makes for the mystery glaze. And this one over here is still super wet right now. That's some wet, that's some wet, that's some wet pottery. This one is the mystery glaze with June Perry's purple all over it. I've recently modified my June Perry's purple to be a little more purple, but because of that, the glaze itself doesn't dry as fast. Even though with minimal amounts of water and a very low gravity, it's still like super wet all the time. So we're gonna let these dry, we're gonna put these in the kiln, and I will see you in, well, probably about 10 seconds your time, but in my time, it'll be like a couple days. So, picture of a dog.
2 hours later.
Okay, you know, I don't usually enter the scene this frustrated, but do you know why I'm frustrated? It's because look at this, you see this? This glaze is a banger. I've been looking for this glaze for a very long time. It's a very beautiful, nice type of sky blue. It's just like, I've been wanting this glaze for such a long time. And some of you are like, that's not that great. You know what? This is the worst testile I got. The better one is this one here. The better one is this right here.
It's popping. I don't know. It's popping. Let's go. What you know about me? What you know about me? What you know about me?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I'm so angry about it. Look, it didn't run. Nothing happened to the bottom. It sat at the glaze line perfectly how it was supposed to. I am so angry because this is a mystery glaze. This happens like once every 4 years, and you know what's worse? I technically can't recreate this. I have no idea what's in here. The only amount of this glaze that I have is this much right here. And I would have to add water to this and remix and re-sieve it because when I used it, it got a little contaminated again. So I would have to remake this glaze real quick, of which I only have this much of it left. This has been 4 years. I mean, look at that. Look at that down there. I'm gonna tell you what my mom told me when I was a kid. You are the best mistake I will ever make. I also put it on a brown testile, and it also came out fantastic. I'm not like angry, I'm just in disbelief that usually these glazes turn out really crappy and brown and just not good altogether. And also, there's no way to recreate these. Most potters that save it up like this and do the mystery glaze test are like, well, let's see what it makes for fun, I guess. There's like a 1 in 100 chance that it comes out good. This is my second time doing this in my whole life, and it came out fantastic. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you liked it, tickle the like button. YouTube's always like, man, you gotta tell your subscribers to like the video or else they're not gonna like it. And I'm like, they're smart enough. If they like content, they'll like it. Well, sometimes YouTube be proving me wrong. thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today on the episode where I get sad because I'll literally never be able to create this glaze again. If you like this video, you already know the buttons to press. Hopefully, this video was slightly entertaining to you. This is a very rare occasion. You might get this as an extra Monday video or a Sunday video, perhaps, because I don't usually do this. This glaze by itself took about 4 years to create technically, although usually when potters dip their stuff, they'll either put wax resist like I do now, or what I used to do is I would like glaze the entire plate. I would get a potter's knife, and when I got the potter's knife, I would scrape off some glaze from the bottom. Lots of potters do this. It's very, very common, especially for beginner potters. But when you do that, you like have a little pile of glazed ashes, and you just kind of collect them over time. The trick is that you have to actually be dedicated and save this stuff to the point where you want to make a glaze out of it at a later time, because it really is glaze. It's just dried out and saved up. You guys have yourselves a fantastic day. Good luck on your next art projects, and I will see you, Dirty Potters, next week.
Boys really like it. The girls don't speak. They rolling their eyes, they lip gloss cheap. It ain't my fault, but I could upgrade. Just show you how to use nice things with nice flavors.
I'm gonna tell you what my mom told me when I was a kid. You are the best mistake I will ever make.